Great.
All right, so hello everybody. Welcome to this week's activity. And I think all of you know that today we have a guest teacher who is Wendy. Wendy's one of our big sisters. You guys probably recognize her from our virtual program activities. And she lives in Carson with her family, and she is an artist. So she is going to walk us through a drawing activity today. The only thing you need is a pencil and some paper so that you can follow along. So take it away, Wendy.
Okay. So welcome to art, everybody. Like Carrie said, my name is Wendy, and yeah, I've been with Big Brothers Big Sisters for several months now, and I'm just very excited to be able to do some art with you guys tonight. So you'll want a pencil of some kind. It can be a mechanical pencil or a regular pencil. Any kind of paper that you've got. It could be lined paper from school, it could be computer paper, or you might have a sketch pad. You can even cut up like an old cereal box and use that to draw on.
And an eraser if you make a mistake.
Yes, that's always helpful. Yes. And I've got a big eraser too. Those are great too. And you can always pop them in half and tear them in half. And so I just want to welcome all of you guys to art. And let's see. Okay, so as I talk to you, I'd like you to go ahead and start drawing whatever you'd like on your first piece of paper. You guys have a few pieces of paper, right? Okay, so if you need ideas of what to draw, maybe draw a garden or a sun or some trees with flowers growing on them like we have growing right now. All the trees are in bloom. Whatever you like to draw right now, you can just go ahead and draw whatever you like while I talk to you about art. So art is so much fun because it's a way for us to express ourselves and to dive into the things that interest us. If you like wolves, for example, you might like to find a book at your school about wolves and open it up and look at the pictures. And you might get some ideas of a wolf, of how to draw a wolf. You might look at the wolf and the outline of the wolf and just kind of study it and try to draw it. And your drawing doesn't have to be exactly like what's in the book, because this is a professional illustrator and even adults couldn't draw it exactly like that, but you can get some ideas of what to draw and how to draw it. So people use books to get ideas about how to draw wolves. People draw wolves, paint wolves, sculpt wolves out of clay. They even carve them out of wood and make stuffed animal wolves, all for art. They use art to dive deeper into their interests of wolves or dogs or cats or trees or whatever happens to interest them at the time. Now, we create art for many reasons. Some people make art to enjoy time with their friends, like we're doing here tonight. Sometimes we use art to relax. It's always good to have healthy ways to relax. We don't need things like alcohol, drugs, or vaping to relax. We have something a lot better, and that's art. I've spent my entire life doing art for relaxation, and it's such a blast. I love it so much. Sometimes we make art to dress up a school project. If you are writing an essay or doing a presentation about a certain animal, for instance, you might want to draw that animal as part of your project. Art can be a great way to improve school projects and make them more interesting to look at. Another reason we might make art is because it builds skills like creative problem solving, as well as self-confidence. As we jump in and try new things with art, we discover new skills and feel more confident about our abilities. The skills that we build in art help us to be more confident and assertive in other areas of our life. Now, we've been talking a lot about assertiveness this month. Being assertive means to express yourself with confidence, to not be afraid to speak up for yourself or others. If you have a need, it is good to find appropriate ways to express your need so that you can get that need met. For instance, if you are out shopping with a family member and you are starting to get really thirsty, you would notice your body's need and try to speak about it clearly. You would try not to whine or cry or be mean about it. You would try to find creative ways to solve the problem. You could come up with a creative solution. You might say to your family member, "I'm really thirsty. Can we stop at a drive-through and get a free glass of ice water?" Stating your needs clearly and calmly is being assertive. And making art helps us to do that. Making art is a wonderful thing because it helps us in so many ways. It builds imagination, self-confidence, creativity, and problem solving. And all of these things help us to be assertive. So let's move forward. April 22nd is coming up. Do you guys know what that is? We celebrate Earth Day on April 22nd every year. So as I'm thinking about Earth Day, I thought we could make some Earth Day inspired art. The earth is full of art inspiration. Everywhere you look, there are beautiful things in nature. So tonight we'll make some art to celebrate this incredible planet that we live on. Okay, so I'm just looking at the earth in one of my books here. I have so many picture books. I love picture books. They inspire me with art. So I'm looking at this beautiful picture book, and here's a great big gorgeous picture of the earth. And it's called The Blue Planet. I'm reading that, The Blue Planet. And I read that the earth looks blue from space because water covers so much of its surface. Over 2/3 of the earth's surface is ocean. So I thought we might do some underwater ocean art. So here I'm looking at a coral reef. I hope you guys can see that okay. Let me know if you can't, okay? So we've got the coral reef and a bunch of fish swimming around and some gorgeous underwater plants. Oh my goodness, there's even an eel over here. And so this is, as I'm looking, I'm getting ideas of what to draw. Turning the pages and I'm seeing seals. I'm seeing manatees. All these beautiful undersea creatures. So this looks like something that's simple enough that I might be able to draw. So it's got fish here. I'm going to start here where it's easy. They always say start where it's easy, right? So I'm going to take one of my pieces of paper, and you're welcome to keep drawing what you're drawing still, what you're drawing right now, or you can get another piece of paper and you can draw along with me and we'll draw together. We'll draw these fish and we'll draw an underwater scene, okay? So I'm going to take a look at this piece of notebook paper. This is a nice thin piece of paper and you can kind of see through it. When I lay it down over this page, I can kind of see this fish through the paper. And maybe you guys have tried this before with your notebook paper at school and your books from school, but you can actually trace an image like this because you can kind of see that image through the paper. So I just wanted to show you guys that because tracing is actually a big part of making art. A lot of professional artists, they trace all the time. They trace their own work, and tracing is a great way to like train your hand and build your dexterity for making art in other ways. And it's also good to be able to, well, I'm just going to add these details. I'm going to look at it now, set it aside, add his eye. And I made his gill way back here, and that's okay. His gill is actually up here. I can change the picture now if I want to. I don't have to make it exactly like the picture. I'm just getting an idea from the book. So that's how the book gave me an idea, and I traced it, and then I kind of made it into my own. It's also good to be able to look at something and draw it instead of tracing. You want to really know how to do both. They're both really good skills to have as an artist. And you guys are all artists. Kids are all artists. It's just we forget as we get older sometimes. Okay, so I've got a new piece of paper and I'm going to draw these fish over here. I probably won't draw all of them, but I'm going to get an idea by looking at them. I'm going to put my glasses on. All right. And you're welcome to draw this with me. If you can see these fish pretty well, then feel free to draw with me. If you've got a little piece of paper, you can draw little fish or however it fits. All of our art is going to look different because we're all different artists. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to make his stripes. All right, I've got one fish. And then I'm noticing this fish over here, if you can see it, is kind of behind this first fish. So I'm going to draw a fish that's behind this one. I'm going to do that like this. It's going to go behind like that.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Okay, so on this fish, I think I'll draw some scales instead of some stripes. And I'll do that like this. And see how I'm just making it up? It's different than the picture that I'm looking at. It's similar, but it's different. I'm getting creative with it. So you guys can get creative with your fish. You might want to put scales on them, or you might want to put polka dots or extra fins, or you might want to color them in with your pencil. You can do it however you want. It's your art. Okay, I'm going to draw another fish. I'm going to make this one smaller because he's going to be farther away. And things that are farther away are smaller. I'm going to make him have some polka dots. Okay, and I'll do another one. I'm going to make him a little bit different than the other ones. He's going to have stripes that go up and down. And maybe I'll give him an extra fin like this on the top. And maybe I'll even give him a little smile. That'd be fun. He doesn't have to be a realistic fish. He could be a doodly fish. It's my art and I can do whatever I want, right? It's your art and you can do whatever you want. I'm going to give this guy a big a big funny smile. And I'm going to draw his gills differently, a little bit different. And I'm going to put a fin on the bottom of him and on the top. There. And maybe I'll color him in a little bit with my pencil, like that. Okay, I've got my fish drawn. I'm going to go back to that coral reef page that I saw. And I'm going to draw some coral reef. Now, as I look at this picture, I go, wow, that's kind of complex. Where do I start? Well, it's always my motto, start where it's easy. So the thing that looks the easiest to me might be this plant right here. And I don't have to draw it exactly like the plant. I just draw kind of a representation, just a doodly image of the plant. So I start with a long stem and then pieces like this. I find if I make those stems kind of go all wavy like that, they look like they're moving in the water. Okay, now I'm going to try that coral reef. Okay, I'm just going to make something that kind of looks like coral reef. It's kind of shaped like this and it just kind of goes all different ways. Just kind of all squiggly like.
Huh? What is that?
That's coral reef. That's kind of a doodle of coral
Oh
reef.
yeah, I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but it's okay. I know what it is and you know what it is and
Oh yeah, it's hard to see because of the light.
the light. Okay. Is that any better if I move it up?
No, it's still white.
Okay, let me grab a pen. Okay. I'm gonna outline what I just made with a pen. And you can still keep drawing in your pencil. I'm just using a pen so you can see it better. Can you see that a little better?
That's way better.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Okay, so there's the coral reef. I hope you can see all of this. I'll turn that a little bit so you can see it. And then with my coral reef, let's see, it's got some different plants down here. So for this plant right here, I'm going to make a representation of it by just drawing a whole bunch of little circles together. And whenever you see something in a book that you want to draw, you just experiment and you just try with different ways of scribbling or making shapes until you get something that kind of looks like it. It never has to look exactly like the picture, especially if you're drawing from photos. because a drawing is going to look different than a photo. It's going to look more playful and more childlike. When a child draws, like you guys, it just looks so neat. Okay, so there's one. There's one plant. And then I'm going to do another plant that's just kind of a pokey plant like that. I'm going to draw a couple of those. And I might do some little, I see these, well, you probably can't see them very well, but they're like these little starburst type plants. You could even draw stars to represent them. And our picture doesn't show any starfish, but you could draw a great big star and it could be a starfish. And then I also see this plant over here where the seahorse is. I'm not going to try to draw the seahorse because that's a little bit tricky, but I do like that plant that's right behind him. So I'm going to draw that. And it's got some little spots on it. And now I can just add details wherever I want. That coral reef, I might want to put dots all over it to show the texture. The texture of coral reef is all kind of like bumpy and porous, and I wonder how it would feel. I've never felt a piece of coral reef, but I want to try to get that texture with these dots. And then I can even go around and I can shade like this around some of these plants, because I noticed in this picture there's a lot of dark areas. So I thought I might create some of those dark areas by just kind of scribbling in there. Okay. I hope you guys can see these fish okay. Let me just go ahead and go over some of them so you can see. All right. So we're about finished with our drawing. And I just want to remind you guys that you can always, if you want to draw, you can always find a book at your house or at school, and you can look through the pictures and you can either trace a picture or you can look at a picture and draw it. And you can make it your own and draw it the way you like. It's lots of fun. That's how I started. My grandpa was an artist and he said, draw as much as you can, draw every day from books, look at pictures and draw what you see. And that's how I got started. And it's just been a whole lifetime of so much fun with art. So I hope you guys will have some fun this week.
That's what my aunt does. She says you will learn more if you do it like that.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, your aunt is very smart. I love it. So if you guys draw some things, be sure to bring what you draw to our Friday nights, anytime, any Friday night, and you can show it to us, okay? We'd love to see what you're drawing.